All right, here we are for another Gear Dive Jam. We're going to mix it up for you guys tonight. And we're diving into the BIA. Yo.
Sweet little bumper.
Nice. Yeah, Frae, where's your...
Oh, don't encourage her. Stop it. Stop it. Don't encourage her. You lost it, Frae. It's gone.
I forgot about that.
All right. So here we are. Let me just kick it off really quick. I'm sure. Thank you for regulars. Thank you for being here. New folks, thank you for being here too. You may notice I'm missing my partner tonight, my partner in crime, B-Boy Tech. He is with the wife celebrating a birthday. Charity, happy birthday. Hopefully you enjoy. But, you know, the show must go on, and especially we are covering the BIA tonight. But before we get into that, let's do introductions, and hopefully I can point the right way. This time, let's go clockwise. Frae.
Hi, everybody. I'm Frae-Frae, daughter of Drexciya, and damn glad to be here.
Woo!
Hey, I'm Marcus, Death of Nine. I'm a producer, performer, and I work for noise engineering.
Nice.
What?
Hi, everybody. I'm Dngrhndz. Nice to be here.
Johno Wells. Happy to be here. We got so many great friends in the chat. I love all these people, and we know them all.
Yes, I know. That's why it's like, hey, it's
This
just
is our people right here.
Yeah.
All right, so tonight we're diving into the BIA, the Basimilus Iteritas Alter. I always say, yes, it's a mouthful, but it is worth it because it is a beast. Marcus, can you give us just a little spec rundown on it?
Yeah, totally. So Basimilus it's an additive and FM synthesizer. It's designed to be a universal drum as well as basically being able to do any kind of synth sound that you really want it to. There's a gnarly wave folder. There's a bunch of harmonic controls, so you can change the harmonic and pitch relationships of 6 oscillators in there. You can change the waveforms, and of course you can also do FM with those 6 oscillators, so it can get pretty crazy pretty fast. Everything's under CV. It's 10 HP. It's technically 1 voice, but it's really easy to make it sound like a lot more than that too, as I'm sure you'll probably hear in our sets tonight. So yeah, it's a fun module.
Nice. You know, it is a fun module. I mean, I think I talk about the BIA a lot, or probably that's the module that I talk about the most. It's like one of the first ones I've ever purchased, and I still own not only that one, but I now own a second one. So I'm probably biased as well about it. Frae, what's your experience with what are your feelings about the BIA?
You know what? I really love the BIA. I think I love that it can have a very industrial, gritty sound, but that it can move in so many different ways in so many different places, especially because of the patchability.
Oh, yeah. How about you, Dngrhndz? Did I say that right? Dngrhndz. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, obviously it's a beast of a percussion module, but I've seen so many people make really kind of beautiful sounds out of it as well, and the versatility of it is pretty amazing, I think. Yeah. Just today I thought maybe I need a second one also.
I mean, yeah, because it's like at first, when I got it, I, immediately was like, yes, I needed dark and dirty and but then I was like, I started using it for leads even, and like pad sounds, and it's just so dynamic. Yeah. Johno, what's your thoughts on the BIA?
Man, HR Terror says it perfectly that BIA and Manus, and also modules like Loquelic, you can light up so they do sound like a whole bunch of modules at once. I think that's one of the biggest appeals of this stuff, is that with the modulation possibilities, you can make them sound like they're more than one module. It's so useful.
And And it's not 32 HP, which, you know, isn't the
Right.
worst thing in the world. But I mean, at this point, I feel like Traverse and I are always like having these stress phone calls about what to do about the HP and all.
Right. Right.
You know, so.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely size is a major factor. But you know what?
Totally.
Well, let's play a video. Frae, are you cool? Like, let's play your video, and then you can explain to us and the crew and everyone in the chat what you did. And just a shout out to everyone in the chat. Thank you for being here, and be sure you drop your questions to the panel in the chat to make sure we get them answered. And don't forget, just drop them in. Let's do it. Don't forget to mute your mics, everyone here. And
God damn it.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
Dude.
Yeah, don't make fun of my wrist. I was going for the tight shot, and
So
then I was like,
good.
oh wow, my wrist is right in the middle, and my wrist looks like my grandmother's wrist. That's
Dude.
awesome.
This is so good.
No.
God, I love that.
Thanks, guys. For this patch, I tend to use a lot of voices because I'm like, oh, I have this much HP and I have a mixer that has this many channels. And for this, I was like, I really just want to make like the BIA the hero of the patch. So I wanted to try to get as much melody, harmony, rhythm out of it as possible. So, I had the BIA, I had the NerdSec sequencing, but I had like the oct, like sending in the magic juice, lighting up, but not every single part of it being lit up because I wanted to have some parts that I could play at the same time. And then I just got the low pass, the filter from Stem Modular from Wes. And I like adding that on it because I also was sending some an LFO to that. And it was like causing it to kind of get a little more percussive-y. And then I did have drums like inside the NerdSec sample drums. So those were the two main voices. And then I just worked with effects. And the thing that I really like, and I mean, I think that, so many people are like, I want to get into modular. And there's so many things you can do with modular. And for me, I like to make the sounds in modular that I cannot make on any other instrument. If I want to have a well-tempered clavichord, I'll play a well-tempered clavichord. I like music that's in the key of yes. What key is it in? Yes. Like that's it. And so these sounds and the textures and then, it poly everything, just a wide mix. And so the BIA really offers that. And I tried to showcase that in that patch. So
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Sounded awesome.
Patch.
Yeah.
Just super kick-ass.
What setting did you have your BIA in? Like, because it was like that higher tone of like.
Oh yeah. So actually
I'm glad you understood that question.
That one.
Because you sang the key of yes. I understood that.
I knew exactly what she meant right away.
The language we all talk,
Yeah.
It's the BIA language.
So the NerdSec has it's called an offset. I don't really know what it does except that it sets it off. So I was actually
shit.
like shifting the offset and setting it off, and it actually just pushes it up, a few octaves, and so it probably does something. Johno can tell me what offset is about, but
I'm not touching it.
I just know that when I change it, the sound changed, and I worked with it. That's what's up.
No, that switch is like 0 to 5 or 0 to 10.
It's -5 to 5 or 0 to 10.
Thank you.
Right. I did kind of read that at some point. RTFM, right? So
we have a question in the chat from Peter. So the BIA is a 6 oscillator FM drum. Question: do all 6 modulate each other?
So kind of. I believe in metal mode, it is basically a 3x2 FM algorithm. So there's 2 carriers, and then each carrier is modulated by 2 other oscillators. In the skin and liquid modes, it's basically just an additive oscillator, so you can directly hear all 6 oscillators at the same time.
Nice.
yeah.
It has a noise oscillator in it as well, right?
Yeah. So the attack knob, if you turn it to the left of center, it basically starts introducing noise on the attack instead of changing, the attack curve or something like that.
Got you. So that's how I can get like that percussive
Hi-hatty or snare. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. Thanks.
Well, and you said you had other elements in your NerdSec, but mainly it was the BIA was all most of what was happening.
Yeah, I mean, I had like this kind of like 3 against 4 kind of thing happening with the NerdSec, like a stomp clap, and kind of rhythm, and then everything else was the BIA. So
Very nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, way to kick it off.
Thank
That
you.
was a good test to start.
All right. Well, Danger Hands. Let's dive into your video.
Oh yeah,
right.
let's do it.
And everyone, don't forget, if you have questions, we'll drop them in that chat too. All right.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Jesus.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Digi says, "This is dirty. I love it." That was so dirty. That was like dirty with an A. Dirty.
Boom. Yeah. Well, tell us.
So
I have lots of questions, but tell us what you're doing first.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty simple setup. I just had my Digitac with the drums and it's basically using the BIA as like a bass line, but also, manually twisting the attack so you can get like the noise in there as well. And I had the voltage block modulating, like the decay and the morph and the fold, and also sending it pitch. I was sending gates from the Digitac as well, so that was basically like just 16th notes, I think, with some like probability on it. And I was sending it through the ripples filter, which I don't normally do with the BIA, but I was like, hey, let me just see what it sounded like, and it was pretty cool, so I left it in there. Yeah, it got kind of gnarly, and that's sort of how I tend to go with the BIA a lot. I think when I first got it, I would just, I'd be like, oh, I'm just going to make industrial music all the time and just have it go crazy. But I've been trying to get it to be a bit more melodic and, a little bit trying to get it to be not as noisy, so it's like turning the attack clockwise so I don't get too much noise in there. And I love playing with the decay, like modulating decay, I think is my favorite part of it.
Nice. You were using the Pons too, the Pons Asinorum. Where's that sort of?
Oh yeah, that's right. I was sending a really slow envelope from it to, I think, the fold. Yep.
Cool. I also heard like there was like a higher pitch, like a ghost note or a random note.
Yeah, that was a digitone. It had a little like twinkly thing going on with the digitone. Yeah.
Got it. Cool. It was dope, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was rad.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a great thing about it. It's like right now just 2 videos. So that was predominant, like your main voice happening in the video for you as well, and like completely different sounds. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, to me, what was cool about that one was all the sounds in there were really kind of aggressive and, a little bit distorted and all that, but it was still kind of a chill vibe, it was just kind of laid back. You kind of relax into it, but it was a really interesting kind of counterpoint.
Oh, I was also running it through the emitter Versio, the delay. So that it gave it a kind of a cool like stereo thing going on there.
Yeah.
Nice. Very cool. Yeah. Damn. I saw your set when you played for the last SoCal synth party for the mod map.
Yep.
You used the BIA in that set as well, right?
Yeah, I used it a lot in there as well. Yeah, I right before the compilation came out, and I was kind of messing around, like patching, and I got this like bass thing to happen with the BIA. So I was like, oh, I'm just gonna keep doing this for a while. And so when I was prepping for the live set for that showcase, I was just like, yep, I'm just gonna keep rocking this.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Don't mess with the patch yet. Just keep using it.
That's right. Yeah.
I was like to Corey or B-Boy Tech, I was like, ask him to be on the Gear Dive Jam with us. Yeah, nice patch, man. It sounded great.
Thank you.
All right, well then let's keep it moving. I'll play mine next. How about that? Is that
cool?
We'll save the best for last there. So Death of Nine, you'll be the last. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. All right. Here we go.
Ooh,
That's cool.
One voice, right?
One voice. I had to get a little nasty with it. I'm like
Okay.
trying to remember what I did. Like I just patched the hell out of that module, really. I mean, like that was like why I love it so much. Yeah, I just used the O control and the PAMs to get more of a rhythmic patching into the decay and then into the fold and the morph. And I tried a suggestion. Well, Johno, we talked about the Zadar before, and I always sleep on the Zadar. I have this module. It's great, right? So I was like, let me use these envelopes to modulate these, modulate the BIA as much as I can as well. And so that's basically what I did. Like I just, put some of those envelopes on loop and then just, utilize that. So, and I feel like that really, I mean, I've always used the BIA in like I've always sequenced all the parameters on it in a very, like a sequence way, not just always just putting in an LFO, but more of a controlled, like using PAMs or triggers. So, I thought it was something new for me to add the envelopes and using envelopes as well with it, which I thought kind of woke it up even more. So,
Yeah, that's awesome.
That was awesome. So
I like how all three of us.
Kick? Sorry, go ahead.
No, I apologize. Go ahead, David.
So were you doing like the kick and the melodic stuff all at the same time from the BIA?
yes.
That's so
That
dope.
was really cool sounding. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like one of my favorite things to do with the BIA is like, let me see how many sounds I can pry out of this thing at once.
That's modulating the switch, right?
Not for the kick.
To
For
switch
the
between
higher tones, I modulated the switch.
Mhm.
But yeah.
That's
awesome.
the trick, is making it sing in two really different ways like that. Yeah.
Yes. And then on the O control, so depending on the setting of how much voltage I was sending was where I would get the lower tones to get the kick-like sounds from it. So
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's really
Awesome.
cool.
Yeah, Zadar's a gem for wacky stuff like that.
Yeah.
Zadar and Voltage Block, just such little hidden gems, or not hidden, but yeah, those are gems.
That's cool. So were you using PAMs to modulate it too, or was that mostly doing clocking?
let me think about that for a second. To be totally honest, what was I? Yes.
Okay.
I was using PAMs to modulate a couple of the parameters on the BIA and also modulate the performer. So when I was hitting certain notes on the BIA, I would also modulate the performer like with the delay or the reverb to get sort of like that extra pumping on there. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of a trick I learned from Chris a while back. Was just like clock signals can be fantastic for modulating stuff.
Yeah.
Like if you have something rhythmic going on, you can just patch your clocks to all sorts of destinations, and it can be really interesting. Stuff really comes alive with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because then you can get those sub rhythms, underneath that, underneath the main rhythm, which is, I'm always, that's what I like to dig for.
Yeah.
Extra little, or as Frae told me, they're like fractals, right? Is that what you're I'm doing those fractal rhythms or? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well,
I like how this show, it seems like so far everybody has done something that they don't usually do with the BIA. This was a real great excuse to try to really dig a little deeper, for the videos. So
I think that might be geared towards you, Marcus, possibly. Stu?
Yeah.
Maybe, is that right? I think you're still in the chat there.
Yeah, that's quite a question.
I know.
I mean, first off, so we have two other voices that can do percussion really well, which is the Loquelic Iteritas Alter and the Cursus Iteritas Alter. Loquelic especially, like, it's a complex oscillator. You modulate one of those, you get a lot of different sounds. And since there's an envelope built in, it's really great for percussion. I use mine for kicks as much as I do for anything else, honestly. I can't talk about future products, but I can say that we have more ideas for things that we want to do than we have like seconds in any given day. So I'm not sure exactly what the future will hold for that, but you know, we have a lot of stuff we're working on.
Nice. Well, as you know, we're always looking forward to it because, yeah, you guys make fantastic modules. So
thank you. Yeah, we try.
In electronic sounds audio, what would I send the clock to modulate? So like maybe try like the decay or the morph or the fold. Send it different clock rates to kind of get like maybe a push and pull happening.
There's also
try that for sure.
Yeah, there's a couple different types of clock signals that you'll run into in your Mac. So there's actual like 50% duty cycle clocks where it's half up and half down, and then there's basically triggers. So the former you can just plug in and you'll get some interesting stuff out of it. If you're dealing with triggers, I like to use something like just a decay envelope. And if you have a bunch of those and you start clocking them differently and then patching those types of signals to different stuff in your system, it can get really interesting really fast. Just having a whole bunch of like somewhat related, but varied in timing modulation can really liven stuff up too. And that can go anywhere, honestly.
Nice. I mean, and as you mentioned earlier too, you can do that even on your other, like the Mantis is pretty, has a lot of, and I know Johno, you love the Mantis too, the Mantis too. So
Loquelic too. That's my favorite. I mean, of all time. That's like Swiss Army knife stuff, you know. But sending it like a sequence, again, from something like Voltage Block, where you just like have a cool sequence, and then you don't let it run over and over, but you put Voltage Block on random. Sending any of that to BIA or Manus or Loquelic, just a blast.
Yeah. That's fun.
And easy, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, it was like, oh, go ahead, John. What were you saying?
No, I was just saying easy's good sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
especially
just some
when
quick
you're
animation, you know.
Yeah, and especially when you're starting out, like I said, it was one of my first modules, and it really helped me learn about modulation. You know, just having that within all those options within one module, and being able to pull that much, that much range out of just one module, you know. So
yeah, that part is just blows my mind that, you know, you essentially had like a full techno thing coming out of that one module. It's just insane.
Yeah,
it's impressive. You did a good, awesome job with that batch.
Thank you. HR Tear mentioned that's the first silver. I have it in black too, HR Tear. Just to be clear. Oh yeah, electronic sounds audio. Yes, the mimetic is fantastic with the BIA.
So good.
Yeah,
I did a video for you guys too, doing a similar thing, using the mimetic with the BIA, being able to get a full range of.
Another person who really rocks the mimetic is Patrick, POB.
Yes.
I was at a backyard modular party with him at Sky's house. This is a couple years ago, and it was even smaller than your case. It was like 40 HP, you know, and it was like a mimetic, and I think a Manus or maybe a BIA, and that was it. No effects, no nothing. And it was just like rage and POB, manual modulation stuff. Oh my god! Like we were just standing around and just laughing. Seriously, like we were laughing. He just like brought the place down. I like show up with all this stuff. I got this big old cinematic garbage going on. Every single module I've got, I'm gonna show off all my stuff, and he's just got like, you know, fuck you system, you know, and just knobbing it, bro.
He did that for the SoCal, the vent here too. He showed up with a little, I think the mimetic, the BIA. He had the cat. The
Yes,
cat module
the
and that.
2 HP one. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I just killed it.
God damn it.
Yeah.
So cool to see.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that thing that Anton just mentioned is one of my favorite things. That's actually something I did in my patch. I wrote a blog post about it too, where you can just set up a bunch of different sounds on each step of the mimetic,
Yeah.
or two of them if you have to,
Yeah.
which is even more fun. And you just kind of like, you can clock between different sounds. Since there's a random input, you can just randomly grab different sounds. And it works really well for that too, because you can also manipulate them on the fly as you're going. So yeah,
Mimetic is one of those sequencers I'll never let go. It's so good.
That's been on my radar forever, and every time I see it like on Reverb, and I'm like, okay, like put it on the wish list. I come back, it's gone. I'm like, man, people really love this thing. So one day I'll get one. Maybe with my second BIA, I'll get one.
It's super jammable. It's just real jammable.
Yeah, with the shred. I was afraid of it at first, to be honest. Like I remember I was at Noise Bite, and Chris, you were there too, actually, Marcus. And Chris showed me the mimetic, and I was like, I half heard what she said, and then I was like, oh, I can't figure this shit out. And then Patrick came over and he's like, no, it's just this. And it's like
Same
that
here.
easy. And I'm like, it's that easy? And I was like, oh, I'm such an idiot. And then like
Dude,
after
Patrick
that,
sold
I
me
was like,
too. He sold me too.
yeah, I was like, after that, I was just like off and running with it. I was like, this thing is dope.
Yep.
Yeah, those two modules together are a powerhouse. The mimetic and the BIA for sure.
Yeah. Well, there's so much you can do with the mimetic too in terms of patching. Like if you put an envelope into one of the CV addressable inputs, you basically get a burst generator, but allow for CV as well as triggers and stuff. There's a lot of really interesting stuff you can do with it. Yeah.
I'm serious.
Wait, say that again. Say that again.
So you stick an envelope in, attenuated envelope, into the NCV input, and basically every time it changes step, it outputs a trigger. So you basically get a burst generator. An envelope, you can change the rate and distribution of the triggers you get. So it'll be like faster at the beginning and slower at the end.
Zadar, Shonda, Zadar, right here.
Yes.
There you go.
Ooh.
Now it's going to be a trio. That's like hey, everyone in the chat, if you have the mimetic, a BIA, and like the Zadar, whatever.
Ooh.
Let's see. There's your 3 module challenge right there.
And jacking the waveforms on the Zadar. Oh,
yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's it.
I'm gonna do that tonight.
All right. Yeah, I challenge anyone who's out there in the chat and is listening and has those modules.
Man, you guys are gonna make me buy a Zadar, aren't you?
Yeah.
Zadar's perfect.
That's awesome.
There's not a lot of modules that I would call perfect.
Anton mentioned the fact that's your new one though, the Fracto Solum, correct?
Yeah, and we actually did a lot of stuff in development to make those two work well together. Because being able to CV over clock divisions is pretty freaking fun. Since you have a bunch of weird ones, again, you can create kind of presets, and you can sequence your clock divider to give you just weird rhythms and that kind of thing. That's a lot of fun too.
Nice. Zadar by Chaos Devices. It's 4 envelopes. That's just an understatement of putting it like that.
It's not even. Yeah, it's like waveform generator. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Surging Mass talks about it being a cool drum source. You can speed the waves up so fast that they'll go into audio rate, and then there's 200 of them in there, and they're all wacky and awesome.
Crazy.
So these are not your typical. Yeah, that thing's amazing.
That's
cool. You'll. I'm sure you'll order that as soon as we hop off here, huh?
Yeah.
I'm looking at it right now.
It's super easy too. It's easy to get. It's nicely laid out. I'm gonna stop talking about Zadar. I'm sorry.
Well, let's play your video then, Marcus, so you can really break down what you did in your patch for us.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Jeez.
Damn.
Wow.
Ah, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I seem to have some explaining to do.
Yeah.
You got the plan to do, Lucy.
Got a lot of explaining to do.
So, yeah, I always overdo
Got a lot of explaining.
Somebody new to YouTube.
Cool.
Cool.
Anyway, so I always overcomplicate everything for myself. So that was a 2-voice patch that had like 20 modules and 70 something patch cables in it because, you know, why not?
Yeah.
So, and I basically, I was just curious. So there's 2 BIAs, only sounds in there are BIAs. And I was just kind of curious what would happen if I just kind of started distorting everything a little bit more at every stage of the mix in there. So basically, I think basically each BIA goes through an autodyne. One of them goes through a Desmodus Versio. They're mixed with the SSF vortices, and then basically the vortices goes through a WMD muscle, and that's just kind of like a final limiter and everything, so that can really drive stuff. There's a second muscle on the melodic BIA that does basically sidechain pumping, and that's triggered off of an envelope that is triggered by CV going to the mode switch on the BIA. So every time the BIAs turn into liquid mode, that also triggers an envelope that triggers ducking for the melodic voice. So I can basically I can mute the that signal and have the one BIA just do like baseline stuff, or I can unmute that and have it duck my other BIA and also be a kick drum.
Super simple.
Yeah, it's simple.
Super simple, yeah.
Basically, there's a couple interesting things going on with like reset signals. So I clocked the mimetic digitalis, as we were talking about, is controlling one of the like percussive BIA. So it does that like snare thing and turning it into a kick. And that's clocked off the Nerdseek. The bloom is also clocked off the Nerdseek. And there's just a pulse that fires at the beginning of every 16 trigger measure, I guess, and that triggers a sample and hold that is sampling the IntelliGel scales, which I'm playing as a keyboard. The signal off of that goes to the what's it called? The Qantas PAX or precision adder, and all the pitch CV for everything is going through that. So I can basically hit a button on scales. The next time the sequence loops around, it samples that and transposes everything up. So I really can't fuck up a key change because it just happens automatically in time, which is pretty fun. I haven't done much with like time quantizing things before, but it was an interesting experiment to kind of get that working.
So cool.
And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I had a frames going to the melodic BIA, so I could just kind of turn a knob and change the sound as I went. And
the bloom.
Oh, the other interesting thing was I had an OR gate that was combining two different trigger signals going to the percussive BIA, so I could change what type of rhythm it had just by unmuting things, which was also pretty fun. So yeah, anyway.
You had the CF in there though too.
Yeah, all I was using for that patch was mutes.
Oh, got it.
Oh, so it would mute
little switches. Switches
exactly.
Frae, you mentioned the bloom. Is that what you were about to ask?
Yeah, the bloom.
Oh yeah, Bloom is awesome. It's kind of an underrated module. And it basically I just had a sequence playing on Bloom that I had basically saved so I could kind of mess with it and then recall it. It was in pendulum mode, but I had a mutable reset going to it so that I could switch it from just playing forward to going back and forth too, just to give another kind of level of sequence modification. And yeah, it's just fun to kind of change the branches and how it's messing with the initial sequence and stuff as you go, and then kind of load back into your initial sequence. It's a really fun module to use.
Nice. Can I get you to say again the envelope that how you were side chaining? Sorry, I would need to.
Yeah.
I need to hear that one.
So basically, I have a mimetic digitalis that's modulating one of the BIAs, and since it's just a 4 on the floor beat, basically every 4 steps, that CV goes high. So it goes from 0 volts to 5 volts. That's a gate signal. It's also a CV signal. So that goes to the switch on the BIA and changes it from skin to liquid mode. It also triggers an envelope. That envelope goes to the muscle, and that triggers the side chain ducking.
Got it. That's the part I didn't get. Okay, I like the creative patching.
Yeah.
The patch is fantastic. It sounded great.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I every time I do a patch these days, I'm just like, okay, what weird stuff can I try now that I haven't done before? And there's always new stuff to explore, and it's really interesting. That's why modular is so wonderful.
Yes. That's why I'm like taking notes. And that's why the show, like, I don't know, that's why we like doing the show, because for that exact reason, sharing your patch notes and just hearing all the different ways that all of us just use this module. It sounded completely different. Like each patch made it sound completely different, which is awesome. Yeah. So,
and I'm just curious, again, what did you have plugged into the trigger expander? Was it the baseline that you were using with mutes, or what part of this?
Yeah, so the trigger expander for the Nerdseek you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was
plugged into that.
So that was clocking the Bloom. It was doing trigger sequencing for the percussive BIA. It was clocking the mimetic digitalis, and it was doing that like kind of system reset signal that controlled the transposes and kind of bringing things back into time.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And do you got some ideas there, Frae, now what you're going to do with your
no, it's really interesting. Also, just sometimes when I have so many options, I want to just use every single input, and it's like really cool to see just like really thoughtful patching, just very intentional like choices of just a few sounds. That's a real challenge,
Nice.
I just want to bring up the blog post you wrote, or someone wrote recently, about the using BIA wrong.
Yes.
post.
Yeah, that was me.
Man, I just got to thank you. That one was huge, and it really kind of woke up something in me about a voice that's a full voice, like the BIA or the Manus, or any voice that's a standalone voice. Instead of sending it a trigger to make it sound, sending it a constant source like a LFO at audio rate or something fast that would make it drone.
Yeah.
It was like how to make, like BIA drone. And I was like, the what? And that's like, it really kind of changed a lot of the way that I'm clocking things and triggering things.
Yeah, it's a fun technique. And there's so much stuff
That's a great technique.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff in modular that you can, it's designed to work one way, but if you clock it at audio rate, it'll still work. Like
it'll still work.
Great example of that. It's a sub-octave generator and a traditional clock divider aren't different. But if you have something weird like a bin seek where you can clock at audio rate but change where the pulses happen, you can create harmonies and stuff, which is really cool. The using stuff wrong posts are just so much fun to write. Like I have so
keep
much
doing those.
Yeah.
Those are really appreciated,
Awesome.
I mean, that's what we're trying to do, is to learn how to twist things differently and not use it how we always do. I'm going to send it a gate. It's going to sound great. That's what this module does.
Right.
But it's like, hey, what if I don't send it that? I mean, it might have been obvious for many, but I was still like, for me, that was one of those aha moments.
Yeah, no, totally.
Really appreciated.
Yeah, awesome. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love reading the blog. It's really awesome blog.
Definitely.
Thank you. Oh, that's so nice. Yeah, I love writing the blog. I learn a lot of stuff just talking to customers and talking to people like you about like different patch techniques and things. So I love sharing everything I've learned about stuff. And like the post we wrote up this week came from Arthur Gnatek, and he was just wondering about how to trigger like entire sequences from a single trigger, and it wasn't really something I'd thought of before, and just opened up a lot of new possibilities for me. So it's awesome to have a platform where we can, write about that and talk about weird techniques, just, kind of like this.
Mm-hmm. So great.
It is, because there's so much, like,
yeah.
You just can't think, like, even if it's something like, yeah, it's just like, duh, like how you're like the aha moment, like, Johno, I'm sure if you thought for a while or whatever, you would have, you would have figured that out.
I think so. Not for this one specifically. Maybe other things, but not this one. I was like, of course.
It's like, yeah, well, I don't know. That's why this community is awesome, I think.
Yeah.
It is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because we all want to make good music and share, like, I just figured out how to do this. Check it.
Right.
And I know you're going to do it in a totally different way. I'm not worried about it.
Right.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's true.
Nice. I just want to check in with the chat too, and you make sure you guys have all your questions in. Thank you for being here, tuning in to Gear Dive Jam. I believe this is our 7th episode. So yeah, thank you. And just a couple things just to let you know what we have on the horizon. Just the synth community in general. First of all, the next Gear Dive Jam, we will be covering the Moog 1, and we will have Lisa Belladonna on as our guest. And I know that we have Modular World happening on Saturday. Johno, drop in the specific time.
Let me give you a link and you can just pump it in.
Okay, great. And I believe also at the end of the month, Colorado Synth Society has another meetup. So
29th. Yeah.
The 29th?
No, the 28th. Sorry.
28th. That's it, right? So yeah, there's just always good stuff happening. Marcus, when are you guys still doing the Noise Blast? Or I know you
Yes.
had like a break with with the season change and all that sort of stuff. Like, is that
we have one coming. I believe this month. I don't think we've announced a date yet. But we always announce those on our socials the week of. So keep an eye there, and you'll hear all about it.
Nice, awesome. So I'm going to drop that link. That's the Modular World link, correct, Johno?
We should probably say who's playing. I think you're playing.
Yeah, I'm playing.
Come on, I mean that's a big deal, man. Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm excited. Tried some interesting things.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
We have Todd Barton. I know he's in the chat. Hey, Todd. Looking forward to your set. Can't wait. Frank, Megan Lieber. Who am I forgetting? I forget how to pronounce his name, so please.
Jens Paulem from Denmark.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah, it's another barn burner.
Nice.
Saturday, 2:00 Pacific. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, if there isn't any other questions, or if you guys want to share any more quick tips or information about the BIA,
There was one question in the chat. Someone said, "Is nobody going to ask about that black panel that was covering?"
Oh no.
Something.
Yeah.
And Marcus
I was trying to just.
I was like, knock it, just nudge it off. He's gonna pass. Something's gonna make it fall down.
Yeah, it was a very carefully placed, not exactly installed blank panel that was covering nothing important at all.
Nothing important. Nothing to see here, folks.
Yeah.
They're not the droids you're looking for.
It's not the Vertiterra. I can tell you that. We're still working on that, but
whatever. Yeah.
There actually is one other question. I don't want to miss it. So it's by OSC Digi here. Curious about this, the specifics on the fold circuit of the BIA. It's called Infinity Folder in the product page. So is there a unique aspect to that circuit?
Yes. So to start with the technical, BIA is a digital module. The algorithm that does the wave folding is, I don't remember how many stages it is, but basically as you turn the knob up, it just folds a lot. And then toward the top of the knob, it also gives you a pulse train that's kind of injected into the audio stream. So it just gets really, really aggressive and very, very prominent just as you turn that knob up. So yeah, it's a rather unique wave folder. It's not your traditional folder by any means.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you for answering that.
Yeah, of course.
Everyone in the chat, don't forget to like and subscribe. We're growing the show and the channel, and we appreciate your support. And yeah, I mean, I think that if that's it, I want to thank my guests. Thank you all for coming on.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Fantastic patches. And I meant what I said to you guys and to our viewers. Hey, if you have the mimetic, a BIA, and the Zadar or another envelope similar to that, let's tag Gear Dive Jam and on Instagram, and let's see what you got. Like with your 3 module challenge. How about that?
That's what's up.
All right, so what's up? All right. So have a good night, everyone. Peace. See you next month.
Nice meeting you guys.
Ciao.
Thanks for having us.
Bye.
It was a blast.
Bye.
Yeah.